Monster horror! The wind howled through the ancient trees, their gnarled branches creaking in the moonlight. The forest was alive with the eerie sounds of the night, and a shiver ran down Sarah's spine as she made her way deeper into the woods. She had always been drawn to the unknown, and tonight was no exception. Sarah had heard whispers of a monster that haunted these woods, a creature of unimaginable horror that preyed on those foolish enough to venture into its domain. She didn't believe the stories at first, dismissing them as the tales of superstitious villagers. But the more she heard, the more her curiosity grew. She needed to see for herself if the monster was real. As she walked deeper into the woods, the trees closed in around her, casting long, sinister shadows. The moon was a pale, sickly orb in the sky, providing just enough light to see the twisted branches and gnarled roots that seemed to reach out for her. Her footsteps were muffled by the thick carpet of fallen leaves, and she felt like an intruder in this ancient, forgotten place. Sarah's heart pounded in her chest as she pushed on, her flashlight cutting through the darkness. Every rustle of leaves, every distant hoot of an owl, sent her pulse racing. She tried to shake off the feeling of unease, but it clung to her like a second skin. Suddenly, a low growl echoed through the woods, freezing Sarah in her tracks. Her flashlight beam danced wildly as she swung it around, searching for the source of the sound. Her breath came in shallow gasps, and her heart felt like it was about to burst from her chest. The growl came again, closer this time, and she could hear heavy, labored breathing. Whatever it was getting closer. Panic welled up inside her, and she began to run, branches and thorns clawing at her as she pushed through the underbrush. The growling pursued her, getting louder and more menacing with every step. Sarah stumbled into a small clearing, her flashlight falling from her trembling hand. She looked around frantically, trying to catch her breath, but the darkness seemed to press in on her from all sides. And then, she saw it. Emerging from the shadows was a hulking, grotesque figure. Its skin was pale and mottled, stretched tightly over its emaciated frame. Its eyes were sunken, black pits, and its long, bony fingers ended in razor-sharp claws. The creature's lips curled back in a grotesque grin, revealing rows of yellowed, jagged teeth. Sarah's scream died in her throat as the monster lunged at her, its claws slashing through the air. She stumbled backward, trying to escape, but the creature was relentless, its cold, dead eyes fixed on her. She could feel its hot, fetid breath on her face as it closed in, and she knew she was trapped. Just when all hope seemed lost, a shot rang out, and the monster let out a deafening howl of pain. It staggered backward, its grotesque form dissolving into the darkness. Sarah turned to see a group of villagers, led by an elderly man with a shotgun. "We've been hunting that thing for years," the old man said, his voice trembling. "You're lucky we got here in time." Sarah nodded, still trembling from the encounter. As she looked back at the now vanished monster, she realized that the stories were true. The woods were home to a monster beyond imagination, a creature that would haunt her nightmares for the rest of her life.